Welcome to Convo Stories. It was my first Christmas in Canada, far away from my family in Pakistan. This year, I was alone, and the emptiness was almost unbearable. That night, as I stared out the window at the snow-covered street, I heard singing. A group of carolers stood outside a neighbor's house, their voices harmonizing beautifully. Their cheerful melody made me think of home and my family, and for a brief moment, I felt comforted. After listening for a while, I went back to my room and lay down. I must have dozed off because the next thing I remember was waking up to a strange chill in the air. My room felt eerily cold, and that's when I saw them. The carolers were standing in my room. They weren't singing anymore. They just stood there, repeating the same phrase over and over. You'll always be alone. Their voices were calm but unnervingly hollow. One of them stepped closer, and I froze. She looked exactly like my older sister. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered with the others. You'll always be alone. My body refused to move. I was paralyzed with fear. Somehow, I shook myself awake and ran out of the room, stumbling into the freezing night air. I tripped and fell into the snow, gasping for breath. When I turned around, I saw them walking out of my house, calm as ever. They went to the next house and began singing again, their voices cheerful, normal. I hid behind a tree, watching as the neighbor came out to greet them. The carolers sang their song like nothing had happened. They looked completely normal. A few days later, I spoke to the neighbor. He laughed and said, "Oh, they're just some old folks from the church. They've been caroling here for years." I didn't know how to respond. I couldn't explain what I had seen. I couldn't forget their words or the face of my sister crying. Follow Convo Stories if you're interested in similar stories.